And Bernie, that's so creative.
Take these chains from my heart and set me free. You've grown cold and no longer care for me. All my faith in you is gone, but my heartache lingers on. Take these chains from my heart and set me free. And I guess it ain't gonna happen this time. But I want to welcome you to Luke's World with moi, Jerry Luke. Normally, we come to you from the WHCR FM in New York, 90.3, the voice of Harlem, every Friday on the radio between the hours of 2 and 3:30. Today, we come to you through the auspices of LSMFT Productions, Leo Farley, our director. And as always, we come to you from the Mark Symczak studio here in the city of New York. Well, that song is kind of taken a little bit out of context, but we're all, if you're a Met fan, you're really kind of sad at the events in the last week or so. We were very kind of high on what was going on. I think last week, what did we sing last week? Oh, the baseball songs. We had a baseball song. We were very happy. I was happy on our and meet the Mets. Thank you. I'm the talent here, okay? So to speak. Anyway, so we were very, kind of excited, and and on the radio, I gotta say, I don't want to, I hate patting myself on the back, in hindsight, but my analysis was that the Mets aren't going to do well, basically because they play teams in the last month and a half, 2 months after the All-Star game, who were under 500. So, and they barely got here. And you know what? And even though I was half right, what really stood out was a lack of maturity on the Mets, and that's to be expected. You cannot. I think the Mets set a record that in a World Series they lost the most games after they were winning in the 8th inning, and that's very telling. You can't make a mistake in the World Series. If you make a mistake, that other team is the best in that league. They didn't fall out of a truck and decide to, and to choose up guys who are going to play. They've been playing for a couple of years, and they're really hungry. Their manager lost a heartbreaker last season in the 7th game, and that game has been in his gut all year long. And even when he was down, even when he was down in this series, there were shots to him where you kind of felt that he felt that it was all over. But he had to stand there and be stoic about it. And lo and behold, all his people came through. And when they needed to, because the Mets did some silly things. Okay, so Leo's getting a little antsy. So the bottom line here is, what the hell is that? Okay, so now this is going to be one of those shows where like bells and whistles go off. All right, thank you so much for that. I kind of like that actually. It kind of gives the show a little bit of taste. So the other aspect, the aspect of it in terms of lack of maturity is the mistakes that they made. Errors at third base. 6 minutes. Okay, okay. All right, no more Mets. Okay, enough for the Mets. Catch me on the radio and I will elucidate. Or maybe talk a little clearly, I don't know, a little of both. The second thing is I went on a really nice trip this week. I got myself out of the house. I belong to AMC. It was really wonderful. It was very easy to do. I guess I'm turning it into an old guy. We had to catch an 11:20 train. It was doable. I can catch an 11:20 train. Unfortunately, I was there an hour earlier. I was there at 10:20. So I'm waiting in Grand Central Station, and I'm sitting. I got something to eat, so it's in my pocket. Now I'm on one of the levels. I think there's a Cipriani's there, and you go up a couple of steps. So I got myself into a corner, and I'm sure there are cameras all over the place. So now I stick my hand in my pocket very slowly because I don't want to get cream cheese on my hand. But I'm going, wow, somebody's watching this. What's going to come out? So I put my hand in and then slowly take out a bagel with cream cheese. And that was one of those moments where, like, you know, if somebody wanted to take me out, they could have, because there was just a wall behind me, and it would have been just me. So thank you for not taking me out. Anyway, it's a really nice day. Went up to Irvington, a lot of old money there. It used to be the estate of Jay Gould, who was a railroad magnate. What really struck me about being up there is here's a dude who had all the money in the world, bought land up in the Catskills, land that I've been on that is just gorgeous. It's now it's an aquifer that provides water to the city of New York. But he died of tuberculosis, and like everybody else, he passes. We all pass. And of course he passed in the lap of luxury, but still people think that you have all the money in the world and that's the way to nirvana. I don't think so. Stuff happens. Which leads me into this last segment. How much time? All right, keep going. You watch the news, and bad things happen to people. People who are basically innocent. And you watch it long enough and you think that you're somehow immune from bad things happening. The fact that you're going to vanish one day doesn't even occur to you. But you see animals dying. You see, and lately the amount of shootings is just unbelievable. And we can go into we'll go into that another day. I work at WHCR-FM in New York, and I get an email from the general manager. And what is the email? Well, something that I had seen in the news, and just to me was just another piece of news where a car in Halloween runs up on the sidewalk and kills 3 people. Turns out one of those people that were killed, actually 2 of them. One was Luis Perez, who was walking with his granddaughter, and Luis Perez is the brother of Kadir Perez, who runs a show on WHCR called Nutmeg Jazz in the Middle, and he's also a member of Brothers in Recovery. So all of a sudden, through this email, I'm just connected to a whole world of pain that somehow I put in the distance, and it's given me pause. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Mr. Perez and his brother. Leads me to another sort of conjecture. You walk in the streets and there are thousands and thousands of cars, and just based statistically, some of those drivers are 2 sheets to the wind. Not only that, you have drivers who are driving without a license. If it's proved, and the theory is that this particular driver had a seizure and maybe wasn't taking his seizure medicine, that is really cause for alarm. It's happened before. We need a system to get people out of motor vehicles who just don't belong in them. Unlicensed drivers and people who need to be taking medicine and people of a certain age, I hate to say this, I'm not an ageist, I don't dislike people who get on in years, but once you go beyond a certain point, the odds are of you causing mayhem just increases astronomically. And in this case, perhaps, I'm not really sure, this guy could have been on seizure medicine, because it doesn't make sense for somebody all of a sudden out of nowhere to run up on a sidewalk. And basically, the real fear or outrage is that there's so many cars, and that for some reason pedestrians are in a battle for space to get to where they're going. This shouldn't be, and there needs to be. We need to really look at that, because for some reason everybody who wants one can get a car. Sunday night, after this trip, I decided to get off at University Heights and cross. There's a bridge there, and the traffic was unreal. I don't understand. Did the trains break down in Manhattan or the Bronx? Because I know that's what I was going to. I went from Metro North, and I took a nice walk, and I went over to the A train. The last stop of the A train, 207th Street. But we need to look at not not this little microscopic thing, but we need to look at the whole picture. Do we need that many cars in the city of New York? That's really what the problem is. And again, my heart goes out to the Paris family, and who lost too much for this one, in this one event, and I guess that's all I have to say. We'll see you on the radio.